uses the same shortcuts for navigation. So Alt, left mouse, right mouse, middle mouse button in order to rotate the model, pan it, and zoom in and out. Okay. When you open this up the first time, you're probably going to have a between a 2D and a 3D view. Does anyone have Substance open right now by chance? Or has it installed? Is that what you're seeing? Okay. So you want to jump out of that. Click on right here and click 3D view only. I personally just rather stick in this view just because it's a little easier for me to paint on. The 2D view is useful, but it's kind of more like Photoshop where you can paint directly on the UVs. So that's the reason why it's there. If you'd rather paint, you know, a little more traditionally. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's talk about selecting objects. So you'll see right here where it says Lambert 2, 3, and 4 SG. Remember we added the Lamberts to our models in Maya. So this is where that material ID comes in handy. This almost acts as identifiers for each individual model. In fact, if I go through and turn off the models and turn on, say one at a time, you'll see that we have like the nails, we have the body, and then we have eyeballs right there. David, do you have a question?
No, sir.
So whatever you're wanting to paint on, make sure you have that particular object selected, okay? If you need to go in and rename this, double click. And rename it, say body. Toenails. And eyeballs. So it may be a little bit easier to keep track of it that way. Okay. So if we go over to the body, if you want to, we can kind of just directly start painting on the mesh. I will say that this program is GPU intensive, so probably be better off to have a computer with a nicer graphics card in it. This one tends to make computers chug a little bit, especially when you get into some of the dynamics stuff. Some of the procedural dynamics, it definitely will chug a computer pretty badly. So to be aware of that, all right? Right below the texture sets, which is this area, we have layers. Layers are just like Photoshop layers. We can layer color, we can layer, actually different types of materials, we can layer different alphas, all sorts of crazy stuff. We have different types of layers that we can create. We can do just a regular paint layer, which is what this is, where I can actually paint a color. And within that layer, we have the properties of that layer kind of down here. And this will change depending on which type of layer that you have selected. So for this, I can change my brush size. I want like a bigger brush or a smaller brush. I can change things like the jitter, angle, position, you know, whatever. It's just like in Photoshop. If you want to do something like a stencil, we can do stencils in here. And paint through the stencil. So let me go ahead and make a new layer. So I'm going to go over to, let's do a fill layer. And so I can do like a base color, maybe like a red, something like that. And then we can do another layer on top of that. Maybe we'll do like another paint layer. turn that stencil off. Now we can start maybe painting some stripes or something. If you want to do symmetry, we can turn on symmetry right here. And that will give us symmetrical painting. We can change how the layer is going to be presented. So we can change the blend mode, just like in Photoshop. So if we want to do something like an overlay, or if we want to change the opacity, we can do that as well.